Welcome to Shift from Burley and Wharfdale Methodist Church. I'm Phil Kershaw. In this series we're going to take you on a staycation. Join us along the footpaths, through the fields, beside the rivers and past the ruins in our very own local area, the Yorkshire Dales. We're going to look at what it means to stay hopeful, stay active, stay refreshed, stay focused, stay nourished and stay firm. I want to ask you a question. Are you going hungry, physically or spiritually? Well, today we're going to hear from Janet, who by profession is a nutritionist, about staying nourished. Is she going to provide a rough guide or a detailed recipe? As we all ponder how we are staying nourished, let's hear what Janet has to say.
Welcome to Shift. Today we're in my kitchen. There's nothing better than a good English, or should that be Yorkshire, breakfast. In our Staycation series this week, we are exploring staying nourished. When we go on holiday or even stay at home on holiday, we probably want to treat ourselves to some delicious food. Food keeps us alive, but it does so much more than that. It's part of our culture, who we are. It can give us pleasure or be part of a celebration. What do you like to eat on holiday? Maybe fish and chips on the beach, or a tasting menu in a fancy restaurant, or perhaps something you've cooked on an open fire, barbecue, or even a braai. Of course, not everyone is so lucky to have the choices that we do. My friend Petra has just undertaken the Ration Challenge, which has been organised by Concern Worldwide. This means that for 1 week she has been eating the same food rations as a Syrian refugee. The weekly ration includes rice, flour, lentils, dried chickpeas, tinned sardines, tinned kidney beans and vegetable oil. The amounts allowed are really small and provides less than recommendations for healthy adults in terms of nutrients. Whilst we've all been affected by the coronavirus, we have not all been affected equally. Refugees were already living a nightmare, and now as a result of the pandemic, many more could face devastating hunger. Petra said she's felt hungry on these rations, but she wanted to do something to help. Hunger is the world's biggest health problem. Every year it kills more people than AIDS, malaria and tuberculosis combined. Now, I know we're told the biggest health problem is COVID, and that might be true for us in the UK. However, right now, 821 million people do not have enough to eat, with the vast majority of them living in low-income countries. No one should have to live with hunger and the damage it does mentally and physically. As a nutritionist, I know from a scientific perspective how important it is to have the right amounts and types of food to eat to make sure we stay healthy and prevent disease. My whole working life as a nutritional epidemiologist, that's someone who studies diet and disease in populations, has been looking at different groups of people, from infants to the elderly, to see what dietary behaviours mean that some people stay well and others put themselves at risk of disease. Our work shows that what we eat affects us at every stage of life and has an impact on many types of disease. Amongst other things, we've helped to show that too much caffeine in pregnancy means that babies will be smaller. For women, that what you eat affects menopause timing, and that eating red meat can affect risk of certain types of cancer. Is it too far a stretch to think that what we feed ourselves in a spiritual sense, if we feed ourselves at all, can also affect our health, both physically and mentally? I looked up randomised controlled trials, which are the gold standard form of evidence, to see if I could find anything. Actually, a study published this year by a team which compared the effects of devotional prayer with secular meditation on cardiovascular response to a faith challenge amongst Christians, found some evidence that prayer was more effective than alternatives in reducing stress in this group. Now, coming back to Yorkshire, the county is of course home to many delicacies. Yorkshire pudding, made from a batter of eggs, flour, milk or water, is a versatile food that can be served in numerous ways depending on the choice of ingredients and the size of the pudding. An early recipe for a dripping pudding was published in 1737. Now, the Yorkshire pudding is meant to rise to being beautifully puffed and crisp. The Royal Society of Chemistry says that a Yorkshire pudding isn't a Yorkshire pudding if it is less than 4 inches tall. Our Robin can cook a great Yorkshire, and the secret is to get the fat really hot. There are actually 2 Yorkshire pudding days, one in the UK, the first Sunday in February, and one in America, coming up the 13th of October, known as National Yorkshire Pudding Day. Another slightly interesting and random fact is that jelly tots were invented by accident by a local man from Leeds. So sometimes what we prepare to eat can turn out as a happy discovery, but at other times, if we want to get, for example, the perfect Victoria sponge, we need to follow a recipe. As a Christian, I do have a sort of recipe book in the Bible. It is okay to experiment and use it as a rough guide, or at other times I might want to stick closely to the guidance that I find there. Now, some of us might have been doing a bit more comfort eating than normal, and with less exercise have possibly gained a few pounds during lockdown. Of course, it is important not just to eat highly energy-dense foods like Yorkshire pudding, fried foods, chocolates, cakes and so on, but to have, yes, it is common sense, a balanced diet, with a good mix of things, including enough fruit and vegetables. Now, it's easy to see some similarities with my Christian life. It is. If I only do one type of Christian thing, maybe only praying or only reading the Bible, then I miss out on other things that I need to keep me spiritually healthy. Getting that variety has been challenging during these distancing days when meeting together has not been possible, or at least only virtually. Inviting people into our homes to share meals has also not been possible for many people recently due to COVID. Whilst we have had Eat Out to help out, if you could get a table, meeting in homes, inviting people round has not been encouraged. That sharing together of hospitality allows us to relax and enjoy each other's company. Christian fellowship has always been built around food, even in the early church. Right from the very start, early Christians were breaking bread from house to house. Now, in this context, breaking bread does not mean a ritual communion service. The words breaking bread is translated from a Greek phrase used by everyone at the time to describe sharing a wonderful meal and a time of fellowship and relaxation with friends. This is what we are trying to do remotely, meeting through electronic means. Though that just isn't the same, is it, as sharing together? Let's hope we can get together for a great shift breakfast soon. One of the Psalms in the Bible that we have been looking at, Psalm 23, says that God prepares a table for me. This isn't just a quick sandwich on the go. No, this is a banquet. And Jesus is well known for turning water into wine to help at a friend's wedding. But it wasn't just any old wine, it was the best that had been tasted. God doesn't want us to just about survive on rations, but rather wants the best for us in all situations. As one of the songs today says, he is a good, good Father. So, whatever time of day you are watching this, you may have just eaten or be waiting for a meal. Staying nourished physically and spiritually during our staycation means the following: making sure I have a variety of foods and a variety of spiritual practices. Thinking about other people. Again, making sure everyone has enough. The need to use a recipe or get guidance if you want help. Continue to be hospitable, even if that is remotely. It does still help. Understanding that even though we can't all get together, God's table stays open for everyone.